Agiasi, wewe imagosi, agiasi, cool.
Good one.
My name is Ruth Konchella. My father and mother come from Transmara. I think it was an arranged marriage, so my father eventually thought that this was not the right bride for me. So he opted to start dating different other girls, and eventually they separated, and that's how my mother ended up looking for a small house in Kawangware, where we all lived in one roomed house. Her being somebody who had not been to school, she had to find ways of bringing up, fending for her children. So I went for a party next door in our neighborhood. In the evening, my friend came again and asked me whether we should go out. And I didn't know the reason, but he told me that that person wants to take us for a dance. From there, he started taking me to different places. A month later, I missed my periods and I knew I was pregnant. The first thing I did was to tell my boyfriend. I told him, I've missed my periods. And I was expecting it to be so excited to tell me that, well, let's keep the pregnancy. And the first thing he said is, you need to go and do an abortion. I was shocked because I didn't even know how you do an abortion. But he told me, don't worry about that, I'll arrange everything. He told me that I'm going to marry you as my second wife. And to me, I thought, well, it's okay. And, as I queued in the doctor's place, I kept feeling so bad that assuming something happened to me and nobody knows I'm pregnant. I hadn't told my mom, I hadn't told anybody. They all didn't even know where I was. I was in this hospital. I had no idea how an abortion is done. So the first few girls went in, and I decided to tell the doctor that I need to dress up, I want to go home. So I dressed up and left the place running for my life. Yeah. My boyfriend had told me that we planned for a traditional marriage. So my mother prepared everything, invited all the elders, all the family members, people who needed to be in the ceremony. But after the party was arranged, all the family had come, he never showed up for the event, which for me became so embarrassing. When I was 4 months and I knew now that things had become different, I told my sisters that there's something I want to tell mom, but me, I'm scared. But I have to tell her today, because then she has to help me or tell me what I should do. So I first told my sisters, and then in the evening I told my mom. But she told me that the first thing she asked is, how many months are you pregnant? I said 4 months. She said, well, you just have to keep the pregnancy until you get the baby. And she was actually quite supportive. After the event, I actually went and locked myself in my room and really cried my head off. I felt I had made a fool out of myself, because I even embarrassed my mom. I didn't want to ever let her down, because she had struggled so much with me. He's a player. He plays girls. From then, he's had like 5 other girls. When you pass the age of 20, he takes another younger girl. So that's his lifestyle. He just likes being around very young girls, making them pregnant. He has so many kids with so many women. So to him, children do not mean anything. It became a bit tough because my mother had to travel overseas. She got an opportunity to go overseas, and I encouraged her. So I had to live by myself with the baby in the house, and it was quite challenging. At some point, I stopped going out. I stopped buying a lot of the luxuries. I only concentrated on buying my kid food, and we ate only just the basics, my weekend ugali every day, so that I could manage to survive and bring up the child. When Anthony turned 8, I felt, since I hadn't gone to college, that I needed to go to college, and I asked my sister to take care of him. So my sister stepped in, and he lived with them for a while. That's when I traveled to Germany. Anthony was a friendly little boy, so he made friends so fast in the neighborhood. There was a neighbor who had kids his age who they played together with, and and they took care of him. One time I asked whether I can say thank you to this gentleman who used to offer him a call. So I said hello to him, and yeah, that was it. Within no time, they actually asked me to come back because he really liked me and he wanted to get married to me. I felt anybody who loved my kid, since he had missed that part of love, I thought I was doing him a favor by doing that. Not everything that glitters is gold. I had everything in that home. You can never buy love. I spent the night at my sister's place and I never went back to that house. I went to stay with my aunt, who is a widow. I went to stay with her. I asked her, please, I'm having these issues with my husband. Can I stay here for a few days as I sort myself out? I was hardly 27 years old. I settled in. I thought now I have everything in place, not knowing that teenage was on the door knocking and my kids were getting into teenage. My son was already, Anthony was about 14 years old, and he was such a nice kid. He was sweet, even up to 16. My sisters called him darling because he was such a darling. He was so obedient. But at 16, things turned upside down because now he needed identity. He didn't have identity. He needed a father figure to mentor him, whom was not available. He would go to school. Some days he refuses. He doesn't go to school. Then he was expelled from school. He got into peer groups. It was quite challenging for me, and I had now these other small boys, the younger boys, the brothers. I decided to personally see maybe the problem could have been me. So I decided to go to college and do psychology just to understand human behavior. I tried to counsel him. I took him for counseling to different therapists just to help him out. But his situation was getting worse. As he got older, and as I encouraged him to go and visit his father who didn't want to be associated with him, he got him into a depression. So he became so depressed because he knew that the rest of the world liked him, but he didn't understand why his own family, where he comes from, did not accept him. Luckily, we traveled with him up country, where I ran a project on empowering the girl child. He used to go and help me out, like in different aspects of the program. So we went and met this other girl from the village, whom he liked, and they liked each other. The girl turned out to be a really nice, naive girl from the village. So we got married. This girl got a baby. So it was in and out of hospital every other time. But this incident, he went into hospital, and the next thing I heard is the doctors calling me and telling me to go to the hospital. We were called to the head matron of the hospital. That's where she asked whether we were the next of kin. And then from there she broke the news. Then she told us, can we go to the ward? Yeah, that's when we went to the ward. That's when I saw my son actually dead. And I did not want to believe because, of course, I touched him and I screamed to the top of my voice. I screamed for 20 minutes. For a long, long time. Came for the funeral, but he came not being himself because he drank alcohol from breakfast to the evening. I don't know what he was trying to tell himself, just not accepting reality. The following year, on his birthday, what I decided to do is I felt I needed to put it in paper. The story of his life and the challenges I've gone through. So I actually sat down and wrote for 3 days non-stop. From 8 to 11 p.m. I would sleep just for 6 hours, and I wake up very early in the morning and continue. I did the draft for 3 days non-stop, without talking to anyone, just writing. I was feeling like I really needed to vent out my emotions, which actually helped me a lot. If my story can help someone else, I would try to put it in paper, publish it, and give it to other younger people to read, and know that it's a long journey. It's not about just the pregnancy plus all the steps you undergo bringing up a child. Yeah, because a lot of times these days, younger women think of getting children by themselves. I'm trying to discourage that. I actually had met the ambassador several years even before Anthony passed away, and he had even engaged me before Anthony died, and I had told my son that I might be getting married at some point. I'm a founder of an NGO called Cherish Others Organization, which empowers the girl child against early marriage and female circumcision. Met in a small village in Kilgoris. I had gone for a workshop, and he was the guest of honor in this event. We started dating about a year later. Yeah, he would call me. I would explain more about what I do, because I have so much passion for empowering the Maasai girl child. So we had lunch, and from there we had so many other lunches thereafter. We were just having dinner, and he removes a ring and he gives it to me and tells me whether I'll marry him. To me, I'd never seen some of those things. I learned a lot from him, that you always have to just look at things positively. Even when many times the media called me the unknown person. I would like our Kenyan women to be wise and protect their daughters, or even the girls, to take care of themselves. We all have a responsibility. We stop saying that our children are not having sex. They are having sex. So what is the solution? Let's have our girls empowered, told if they have to use contraceptives, they have to protect themselves against HIV and AIDS. Finish education before you get married. Have a better future. Have a proper relationship and get married the normal, godly way, and bring up healthy families. Because when you have a healthy family, then you have a good life, and will bring up a different generation which is healthy, socially, physically, emotionally, and otherwise. Our organization is going to, I've actually always said that Cherish Others is going to be like Compassion International. Compassion is worldwide. That's where I aim to be, where I'll have hundreds of children whom the organization is supporting. I buy school water tanks for schools which don't have water, so that children have clean water. I've built bathrooms around the river in the whole district in Transmara, so that the girls are not stigmatized as they go and take a bath. I've planted trees in different schools there. Of course, I have the seminars where I empower the women, the girls, the leaders, and the boy child. I've organized the first anti-FGM run, which is countrywide, which it's an annual event where we pick on a date like the Zero Tolerance on FGM, which is normally on the 6th of February, where we get all people from all parts of our country. Just come and walk and sensitize the community on the effects of FGM. I have educational program where I pay school for several children. Yeah, I also educate refugees. I counsel them before they travel overseas. Some of these communities have never even been to a classroom, so they don't even know whether HIV and AIDS exists. I've had one very senior politician saying that Kenya has given us, America has given us Obama, and we have giving back to America. This Maasai young woman, and the other day at the AG's office, he said, "Now, they were addressing it to the ambassador Michael, that now you're our in-law. Whatever needs we have, we'll all be sharing together."